Reggie's dead!
Get that animal carcass out of my store before the health department finds out!
Of course, Bee. We just wanted Reggie to see his favorite boba shop one last time.
Fine. Just please be quick about it.
Hey guys, welcome back to No Height Required, the podcast where fandom unite. You can create TV takes center stage no matter your level. I'm your host Brian, and today we're diving into the world behind the voices that bring our favorite anime characters to life. Our guest is the incredible, talented Roo Ryder. Is that correct? All right.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, she's a dynamic voice actor whose performances have added heart, humor, and edge to a variety of anime roles, whether it's voicing a fierce fighter, maybe a lovable sidekick, or maybe some mysterious villain. Roo knows how to bring these characters to life in ways that stay with you long after the credits roll. In this episode, we're going to explore Roo's journey in the industry, the craft of building a voice from a script, and what it's like working in a booth, and how anime has shaped both her career and her connection with fans. So whether you're a dub lover, an inspiring voice actor, or just a diehard anime fan, this episode is for you. You don't want to miss. Let's jump in. How you doing, Roo?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. Awesome.
Wonderful.
I like the last. I'm probably gonna add it, but I was like reading the script and I was like, wait, this is the wrong one. But yeah, okay, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the very first question. So how did you first get into voice acting, and what anime was part of the plan?
Okay, so starting off, when I grew up, I was not really doing theater stuff. I was doing a lot of sports and everything. I was an athlete. I did some soccer when I was a kid, but cross country, volleyball, swimming, track and field, all that kind of stuff. So I didn't really have time to do any kind of theater type of stuff. I loved theatrics. I loved like Disney stuff and everything. Like plays and musicals were fun to watch, but I didn't really participate in any because again, I had a very busy schedule. So it wasn't until I graduated high school that I started working for a character performer company where we did stuff for like kids' parties. And that was kind of like my first little dive into acting in the first place. And it was a lot of fun. It was mostly improv, some singing on stages and stuff. So it wasn't scripted stuff. So scripted stuff was still, not really a territory that I really touched on. And then COVID happened, and then I saw that people were able to start recording voice acting from home. And it wasn't something that I originally was ever like, oh, I want to do that, because I didn't really think it was an achievable type of thing to get into until, we were able to do it from home. And so I started looking into it, and about 2022, I started diving into it, looked into the different options, what you could do, how to get like the best sound out of your, what you have. So I started off with a big old blanket over my head right at the desk that I'm at now with the same microphone that I'm using right now. And I just went for it. I started auditioning. It took me about 60 auditions before I landed one thing. So a lot of people are like, man, I did 5 auditions. I just started out and I haven't booked anything. I'm like, it took me about 60. So it's like, it's not always going to be immediate. Some people it is.
I know.
A lot of people it's
Some
not,
people
though.
get lucky off the bat, but then you have to work your way towards it.
Exactly. So it was definitely like slower starting out and everything, which is fine. It gave me time to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And then throughout the time that I started taking classes under some names of people that I admired and everything. So I was able to learn. And as far as anime too, so I started watching anime in 2020, and my first one that I really got into was Hunter x Hunter, and I actually have like the Hunter logo and everything tattooed on me, so it's one of my favorites. But that was the one that I really admired, and when I found out, because I was so new to anime, that the main characters were voiced by girls, I was like, that is so cool, because I never thought like, oh, the main little boy characters are female voice actors. So when I found that out, I was like, I could do something like that someday. That'd be really cool. So Hunter x Hunter was really kind of like the catalyst as far as voice acting in anime.
I can understand the fascination. Vampires are so mysterious and charming. Who wouldn't want to delve into that sort of life? You're an exception. You're the only girl I know in our village that wouldn't.
All right. So, what was your very first voiceover role, and how did it go?
So there's a website that I'm sure a lot of people who are anime fans are familiar with. It's called Behind the Voice Actors. It's where everyone's like, oh, who voices this character? Look it up. It's usually on the website Behind the Voice Actors. They used to have an area where you could have casting calls and auditions. That's been gone for years now. It was probably gone a few months after I started, but I auditioned there, and it was for some, I don't even remember what it was for, but I was like a jet fighter pilot person, and I had like one line. I don't even remember what the line was, but it was not acted very well, especially for the one line. Like, it was kind of embarrassing how bad it kind of was. But it was for some just like super, small project that someone was just like, I want to have this voice acted. And I don't even know if it's like on YouTube anymore. I don't even know where to find it. But that was the very, very first thing. And I was so excited about it, especially to like hear my voice in something. But I've definitely improved since then. Definitely improved.
Awesome. So I guess you already answered it. Like, did you have any formal training, and was it more of a learn as you go experience?
It was really a learn as you go experience. Other than the classes that I took online I would say I started in 2023 was probably when I started taking the classes. So maybe a little less than a year into my journey. And other than that, though, I didn't really have like theater background. So I'm just an observational person. Like, I notice a lot of things. So when I'm thinking about some media that I want to voice in, I kind of just watch that media and kind of pick up on like the nuances of how they speak or like what kind of goes into it. But doing the classes and stuff has helped so much, just because you get so many different perspectives from different voice actors, because they all have different approaches. And I've kind of taken like little bits from everybody that I've learned from. And it's helped me grow, because I'm like, oh, this person said that this helps them. And I'm like, it doesn't help me the exact same way, but let me take like an aspect of it and now apply it to what I'm doing. And it's helped a whole lot. I honestly wasn't sure how much taking classes was going to help, because I'm like, what could they possibly teach you? Because I'd never taken acting classes or like been to an acting school. So I don't know what they teach you in an acting class.
And this was all online?
Yep, all of it was online.
How does that really work?
So it's usually in a Zoom call, and for a lot of the classes, what they'll do, it's not every single one, but they'll usually provide you with scripts already. So if you're doing like script reads and stuff, they'll give you like a Google Doc with all the scripts in it, and you can choose which one you want. They'll have you act it out, and then they'll give you live feedback on it, and then they might have you, do it again with that feedback. Some of the classes, like I've done one under Mela Lee, who's in like what's it called? Mortal Kombat. I could not remember for the life of me. She's also in that Date Everything game that everyone's playing right now.
I've heard about it. I've seen it, but I haven't seen a gameplay.
Yeah, Mela is the bed, the mattress.
So you literally could date anything.
You can date anything in the house. Yep, the toilet, the bed, the clothes hangers. They're wonderful, and it's fully voice acted. It's beautiful.
Yeah, because I saw that Mark Meer does voices in it too.
There's so many. There's like 100 dateable objects. So there's like 100 different well, not 100 different voice actors, but 100 different voices that are being used. I think you can do there's some spicy aspects to it too. You're getting a little freaky with the lamp and all that, but it's okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so Mela Lee taught a class, and I know that they have like a super busy schedule too, because they're this big voice actor that's doing all kinds of stuff. But the information that they gave in this class really kind of helped me connect with characters, because they were talking about how when you're thinking of a scenario, because obviously as an actor, you have not personally been in every single scenario you're going to act out, So if there's like a death of a character that your character's close with, you might not have had a death of, somebody close to you in your life. Like, not everybody has gone through that in their life yet, or, So they were thinking, okay, what is something else that you can kind of compare it to? So like, if I have a friend or something, a character who's a friend, and they die, I haven't had, I'm very fortunate, have not had a friend pass, but I've had a lot of pets in my life that have passed, and they have made huge impacts on me. So I kind of take the feelings from those situations and apply it to this. It may not be a one-to-one, but it still conveys the same kind of emotion and feeling that, you know, my character is feeling towards this other, you know, their friend. So that was something that really helped me kind of figure out how to apply these emotions from one thing to another without it having to be a direct correlation. So they were super helpful with that, and that has been something I've carried with me for the past year and a half, 2 years since I took that class.
And they still do those classes now?
Occasionally.
Okay.
Occasionally. Again, they're super busy, but there are a bunch of working voice actors who do like workshops and classes and everything. And
how do you find those?
so there's a few different places. If you look up like voice acting classes, I would say literally on like X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I know there's like Real Voice LA. They usually have a lot of like guest voice actors come in. Like they've had Kira Buckland come in, Adam MacArthur. They have Matthew David Rudd, who's in there pretty often. So they're one. There's like Red Site Studios. There's I think it's called Scary Good Productions. There's a whole bunch of them out there. But if you just look up like voice acting classes, like I said on Twitter, it's kind of like the best place. I know you can look up on Google and stuff, but if you look it up on Twitter, you kind of get to see like who's actively taking the classes and, you know, who have like said, oh, this benefits me and stuff. So it's not just, oh, let me throw my money at somebody that I've never heard of before. Instead, you're like, oh, these people have had good experiences. So that's kind of how I go about it.
Yeah, because I would think like they might be, I don't know if they do it, but I don't know if they do workshops at conventions too.
Yeah, so there are actually ones. My friend Josh Portillo, who is from the Central Florida area as well, he does conventions where he'll do like they've done ADR classes or like dubbing classes for anime, and it's less of like a class, more of a workshop where, you know, people can try their shot, you know, try their hand at doing that. Bang Zoom, which is one of the studios that dubs anime, what they'll do is they'll do competitions around the US. So they do it in like Chicago. They did it at MetroCon in Tampa. They do it in LA, where you get to audition on a stage in front of people, and then the finalist who wins actually gets to go to LA and record in an anime. So if you look at like almost any, I'd say nowadays, almost any schedule for a con, it will have something like Voice Acting 101 or Q&A with voice actors and stuff. So at cons, I feel like it's becoming a lot bigger, and especially ones that have like people who are remote voice actors like me, who will kind of give the insights on what it's like to do things completely from home rather than be in like studios and stuff.
Interesting. Because I'm like, is it hard to get into? What if you can't only do like one voice? Is that the best you can do?
But that's the thing though, is your voice is like your prized possession. Nobody has your voice. Like, yes, you can have like similar voices, but you are you, and that's the best thing. Because honestly, I don't do a lot of voices when I do voice acting. Like, it's pretty much my voice with different emotions. Now, there are some times when I do like a voice, like there's a character from the game Madame Mystère, or from the game called The Cecil, and her name is Madame Mystère, and she doesn't talk like this. She talks more like this, and like, oh, sweet boy, what are you doing? You know, like having kind of like a sing-song to her voice, and I don't really talk like that. But other than that, a lot of the characters I do are just kind of my voice, and, you know, again, you just want to embody the character itself, rather than like, oh, are they gonna have like a high-pitched voice? Are they gonna have a low voice, you know? That just depends.
All right, Timmy, don't hit the gas. What? No, Timmy, I didn't have the brakes! Oh, shit!
Alright, so what's your typical process for preparing for
A new anime role. So really, when you go into anime, it is very on the spot. You go in and you are basically given that character that day. You are really never prepared ahead of time, unless like because sometimes the anime is not fully out when you record for an anime. Like for my dear friend Nokotan, when I went into that, they said, okay, you're going to be this character, and I get in, and I'm experiencing the show for the first time ever, you know, as I'm recording it. So you go in, you see part of a scene, then you record that scene, and then you go to the next scene, and then you watch part of it, and then you record it. So it's like you are kind of learning the character as you go, unless they, you know, tell you way ahead of time and you can look it up. But for the most part, especially with like background characters and stuff, there's not really a lot of information on them. So they'll be like, oh, you're gonna be girl number 4 in this episode, she's only gonna show up here, so you just have to go in, embody girl number 4, and do your thing right there. So anime, I would say, is a lot quicker, and you kind of have to adapt to being able to catch on to a character a lot more than other scripts and stuff, because you've got like a 20-minute usually about 20-minute show that you have to record for, and you got to make it timely. You can't spend forever on a line. You have to be, you know, 2, maybe 3 takes at like the most, and then move on to the next part, because, you know, you only have so much time in your session. So it's a very fast-paced environment, so you just kind of have to be ready to go in and just take whatever they throw at you, just right there.
And this is only when you're a recording session in the studio, so not at home when you're
Oh no, all this, I have never stepped foot in a studio.
Oh,
Everything
okay.
that I've ever recorded is all from home. So when I do it, it's usually a link that they'll send me to like a kind of a recording software that they use. And then on the screen, they'll have the video and they'll have the script. And then you'll watch part of the video and then read the script as you're going. But it's all from home.
And you only have a certain amount of time within that thing to do it?
Yeah. So like, they'll say, we're gonna have a 2-hour session and we're gonna go through like 2 or 3 episodes or something. So for my dear friend Nokatan being one of the characters, like being one of the main characters in that, I had a lot of lines. Of all the characters in the show, my character had the most lines. So they're like, okay, we have 3 hours and we need to get through this many episodes, and you know, you want to stick within that 3-hour period, and they usually don't want you to go past a certain amount of time either. As far as like, you shouldn't be doing more than like 4-hour sessions, because then your voice starts, you know, getting a little rough and everything. So you want to try to keep it like short and sweet if you can, especially if your character's yelling a lot. They'll make them like shorter sessions just so you're not blowing out your voice, and you know, then you're out for the rest of the week.
It seems that your garden hasn't been well tended in a long time. Well, it's my showtime. Don't be frightened by these toothy little creatures. They are civilized evil devourers who do no harm. Except to the warriors, of course.
You, with that whole talk you just did, you just answered 2 of the other questions, so I'm gonna skip those 2.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about those. So,
I'm telling you, efficiency. You learn it as you do this.
Alright, so you already answered those other questions about like walking through a session and how do you change
Yeah.
your voice for. Okay, so the next one will be, have you ever had to match lip flaps for dubbing, and how challenging is it?
Yes, so when you're doing anime stuff, they get very particular about the lip flaps, because you want it to look as much like your character is naturally speaking in the language that you're dubbing in. So aside from doing anime dubbing, I do a lot of live action dubbing too. So it will be like telenovelas and stuff, or just different things. Like I've done something from Germany before. I've helped dub over like a French film before. So with that, it's a little bit more lenient, because you can't match the flaps of a real human being, because when we talk, we have very specific ways that our mouths move. But in anime, you know, they kind of talk like this, where their mouths are kind of like almost puppets type of thing. So they don't really make as many shapes. So it's very much, honestly, the script translators and adapters and everything do not get enough credit for what they do, because they take, you know, the Japanese, turn it into English, but also they make sure that what they are writing fits into those lip flaps. So a lot of the times you'll go into a session and everything's already written out for you. Everything is, you know, beautifully done. But there are times when you go through a line and they realize like, oh, what you're saying is too short and there's more lip flaps. So they'll rewrite a line if they have to during the session. So if the character is like, my name is so-and-so, and then the character just keeps flapping, they're like, okay, so we got to add something else on there. So like, my name is so and so, and I'm whoever, you know. So they'll kind of stretch it out a little bit. Or the other way, where there's too many words and they have to cut it down, but you also have to make sure that the sentence is still coherent and it's not like you're messing with the grammatical structure of a sentence. So throughout that whole process, there is still editing that's going on, but the scriptwriters usually do a really good job of making sure that everything is, you know, adapted as well as they possibly can do it.
Interesting. But,
Yeah.
But when it comes to like live action stuff, you also have to audition for that, or like.
It depends. So some of the clients that I've had for pretty much since I started voice acting for like 2 or 3 years now. And I do like telenovelas, and what they'll do, because they are continuous series, or they're series where they use the same actors over and over again, they'll just assign you to a character or an actor, and then you're just doing that the whole time. Sometimes they do have you audition for specific characters. Sometimes they just say like, send over a sample of what you've dubbed before, and then we'll just give you a character. It's, again, like, when you're doing this stuff, there's a lot of just kind of, you know, everybody does things their own way, so you just kind of have to do whatever they say, like, oh, audition for this, or just send in a demo reel here, or we trust you, we'll just give you a character, you know?
Yeah, see, okay, with demo reels, you already have work done already, but what if you've never done it before? How do you pass that? You're like,
Yeah.
this is what I can do. Okay.
So that's the thing. So there's the demo, like a visual demo reel of things that you've already done, but what people will make are demo reels of their acting, where they pick a certain number of characters or archetypes, and then they will have little scripts written for each of them, and they're really quick, like 10-second clips or something, where it's like, oh, we've got the tsundere girl, and then we've got like a warrior princess, and then we've got like cafe barista, and so it shows like kind of your range of your acting. And so it's not for a specific project, it's just to show off what you're capable of and what you sound like in those specific scenarios. So a demo reel is kind of the placeholder until you're able to kind of get that little resume portfolio going, so that you can send them that. Some people still want the demo reels though. Like, you can't always just be like, here's my visual reel. They're like, oh, send us your demo reel too. Again, it's all up to whoever's casting. They're like, we want this, and then you send them whatever it is.
I can understand the fascination. Vampires are so mysterious and charming. Who wouldn't want to delve into that sort of life? You're an exception. You're the only girl I know in our village that wouldn't.
All right.
Yeah.
Which role has been your favorite to perform so far?
Okay, so obviously for like anime stuff, it's got to be Koshitan, for my dear friend Nokatan. She has been, I really hope we get a season 2. I really do. I miss her. But she's been, she kind of hit every single check mark of what I wanted in an anime character. I wanted somebody that is the protagonist. I wanted somebody who yells a lot, who goes through like different emotions, who just has like kind of various depths to her personality. It's not just like a one-toned character. She goes through times of worry, stress, happiness, excitement, pure rage. She basically goes like Super Saiyan at one point. Like she's wielding a giant axe at one point too, and those are all things that I've wanted to do, like little action scenes where she's like, ah! And like hitting something. So that's been my favorite for anime stuff. For non-anime things, I would say video games, it was kind of a recent one. It was for a game called Nightmare Shift, and it's a horror game. And my character, her name is Miss Smith, and she is really weird. She's kind of like creepy. So the character you play as is running a motel, and the motel is supposedly haunted, and then there's a lot of plot twists and everything. But my character, Miss Smith, comes in as a patron, and she starts, talking about, oh, I hear things in the walls, and there's like scratching. Do you hear that too? You assign her a certain room number, and she's like, yes, the numbers, they can't get me there. Like, she's really creepy. And honestly, that's been one of my favorites, because I got to kind of just go all out in this creepy factor and be crazy, and it's not my normal, whenever I tell people, I'm like, oh yeah, I voiced that character, and they're like, you're not crazy, right? And I'm like, I mean, it depends on who you ask, but for the most part, that was full acting. But yeah, it's definitely one of them.
Hey,
Huh?
as a buffer, don't be naive. We'll rise to the top! Jeez, looks like you're more of a delinquent than I am.
Then I guess I'll go with the city. I'm gonna steadily climb that corporate ladder. And you, Shikanoko? No, I'm not even sure. It's a love letter. And besides, dating someone out of nowhere.
What's the most unexpected or funniest thing that's ever happened?
Oh gosh, unexpected or funniest thing. I mean, unexpected, and it's not even, I would say like it's pretty normal to have, but like when your stomach just starts gurgling. So the microphones that a lot of us have are super, super sensitive. So if your stomach makes like the slightest little gurgle, you will be able to hear it in the microphone. And then you have to like redo the entire take because it's like, what just happened there? The number of times when I'm acting and my hands are moving all over the place, I've whacked the microphone so many times, and I'm like, oh, I gotta redo that whole thing because I had to just like flail my arm and it just whacked the microphone, made this big boom. Those are kind of funny though, because I'm like, the microphone's been in the same place since like day one, and yet I still can't keep myself contained. Yeah.
Because I see some people's setups where they do their mic stuff. Like one does it in their closet, some has it like in a weird looking box thing,
Yeah.
And then I see
mine's in a closet.
Yours in a closet? Okay, I guess. My friend's was in a closet too. And then I had another friend that had it in a box. But then I'm seeing stuff like on Instagram pop up like on ads. It's like, voice act, buy this nice little attractable tent thing that you put your thing in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how much is that?
Oh, they're yeah. So for me, I have a closet that is about 2.5 feet wide. Like I'm quite literally like a sardine in a can, and then it's about 4 feet deep. So there's not a lot of room in there, because the foam panels I have on the walls are about 4 inches thick. So that's a whole 8 inches across that I'm losing. So the panels are basically right up on me. And one time I had my husband come in for a little comic dub that I was doing, and I was like, can you record this one thing? Because I was like, it was going to be quick. I didn't feel like, bothering a bunch of people for this one little line. And he goes in there, and he's much broader than I am, and he could like barely fit in there. And it's hot too. Oh my goodness. I mean, we're in Florida.
Yeah.
But it's hot. Oh. So some of the
And you can't run a fan either.
No, so I have a fan in there, but that's in between takes. So I'll like finish a script and then I'll run it until I get the next script ready. But to really get my quality to where like the studios are and everything, I have to shut off the whole AC in my house because it makes a low humming noise that gets picked up by the microphone. So very important auditions and stuff, I have to turn off all the AC in the house. Luckily there is like an in-window unit in our bedroom, so if my husband's sleeping, he's at least AC'd in there. But the rest of the house, it gets so hot, I'm like dripping sweat. Usually I'm in like shorts and like a tank top or something. It's kind of miserable.
Is it
but
because
it gets
your
it
microphone
done.
can pick it up? Is that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
So my unit is, I would say it's probably a good like 15, 20-ish feet away from the closet that I record in. And when it goes, it just has this humming noise that gets picked up. And when you are trying to do stuff for like, big video games or something, they need it to be like silent. Like you cannot have like a humming noise because the audio engineers will have to cut that out. And sometimes it distorts your audio a little bit. And, yeah, so it gets really, really hot. And I have a bearded dragon too that's in, so I've got my computer room that I'm in right now, and the closet is in the computer room, and I have a bearded dragon who has a heat lamp also in this room, which is right next to the closet. So it's like I get basically the sauna treatment when I'm recording.
Why do you think her ghost has been showing up?
Why do ghosts typically stay around? They're questions that need to be answered.
And you think her ghost is looking for answers?
I think she's hoping someone will.
Okay, so you said Hunter x Hunter is your first or favorite anime.
Yeah.
Do you have any other favorite anime?
One Piece. It is unfortunately, it's taken over my entire life. I felt like a little Zoro guy back
unfortunately
here.
have not seen the live action.
It is so good. I am on episode almost 900 now. I was actually just I was just watching it a little bit earlier, and it just gets better and better. But
Is it ever?
that's up there.
Is it?
It will eventually. I mean, hopefully I'll be able to voice in it before it ends. That'd be really cool. I want to be one of the snails, you know, the little snail phones, the transponder snails. I want to voice one of them so badly.
Like,
That's like my dream role.
I saw a funny meme where it's like, what if the hidden treasure or whatever is the friends you made along the way? At night, you see a fan go. He just gets up and just jumps off the roof because he was like all that.
Honestly,
for that.
though, I'll tell you what, though, if it was, I wouldn't even be sad. Honestly, the journey that you've been on the way, I don't even care what the One Piece is at this point. Honestly, I'm just like,
It's like, to me,
are
in
they
the
gonna be
end,
happy?
It's like, I even forgot what the whole point of the story is at this point. It's like, what is the One Piece?
yeah. I
Okay.
mean, there's so many like characters and stuff you meet along the way, so many different plot lines and stuff that get followed that you kind of just get absorbed into the world rather than what the ending is supposed to be. But like, yeah, so Hunter x Hunter and One Piece are up there. I loved like season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul. I thought that was really good. I mean, I liked all of Tokyo Ghoul, but season 1 really hit.
Loved this first season. As soon as I started watching the second season, I was like, what happened?
Yeah, and then the third one is like almost a whole different story. Like, I still like it, but I definitely preferred the first season. Another one is like Yuri on Ice. I love that. Jujutsu Kaisen, I watched all of the first season. Yeah. And then once I got to was it the Shibuya arc? I don't know. I didn't get to some of the crazy stuff, but I'm aware of like the ending.
So you haven't got so you haven't seen it yet.
No, but I did read like most of the manga, and then I did find out what the ending was and stuff. So I'm like,
I know.
It's all right. It's okay, you know.
I was like,
things happen, I guess.
It's like, oh, man. It's like, is this what we're doing? I guess.
Right. So that was kind of a stinker to find out, but yeah, those are kind of like, I'm like looking around my room because I have stuff all over the place as far as like
so definitely not
anime.
not a Attack on Titan follower.
No, I've watched it to like season 3. What else? Assassination Classroom, that was a really good one. I feel like that one's kind of underrated. I'm like looking at the manga that I have on my stuff. Yeah, there's an anime coming out called Rooster Fighter that I'm so excited about.
So cockfighter is the other term for it?
Yeah, pretty much. And so it's coming out, I think this coming up year, and it's about a rooster that kind of has like superpowers, I think is kind of like the thing, and he fights like aliens. And oh my gosh, like I love chickens. They're my favorite things ever. And I bought the manga probably like a year ago or so. I think I have the first 4, and then they came out with the trailer for the anime, and it looks so good. Like I'm so excited for it, and I hope I hope people enjoy it, because people were upset when they were showing more trailers of it I think it was at a convention or something, because it's by Viz Media. And they're like, how come they only showed this one anime that nobody cares about? And it was Rooster Fighter. And I'm like, I care about it. They're like, why didn't we get this and this? And I'm like, this looks cool. Come on.
Like, don't hate on it. Because I started watching, I haven't finished it yet. I started watching Kaiju number 8, and I haven't finished that. It's good.
I haven't started it.
I mean, everyone said it's good. And I was like, okay, let me watch it. And I was like, oh, okay, it's that is like, I think got overhyped for me to other people. But now I saw it, I was like,
yeah, I haven't heard really anything about it, so I don't have like an opinion or like a stance on it. Yeah. But it does look like it'd be pretty good. I know there's the anime Takopi's Original Sin. Have you heard of that? It's like a 6-episode anime that people are right now saying might be anime of the year, and it's about. Actually, I couldn't even tell you what it's about, honestly, because I haven't really looked into it.
It's gonna be, what's the anime that everyone loves?
Solo Leveling?
Yeah. It's gonna be,
people are saying it might, but it like came out of nowhere, and I want to watch it, but it's like a 6-episode thing about like I think an alien creature is trying to bring happiness to this little girl or something who's been through like a whole bunch of horrible things in her life. I think is like the premise of it, but they said it's like really well done, so that's one I gotta check out.
Okay.
But yeah.
But I've also been checking, like, Netflix animes have been really good. I don't know if
They have been.
It's been on.
They have been.
It's been on point, like Arcane, Castlevania. I recently just finished Devil May Cry, and I thought that was really good. And then
I haven't seen that one.
oh, it's good. Check it out, Devil May Cry.
Mhm.
It's from the guy who did Castlevania. Maybe.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay,
but to me, like, so far it's been good. I saw another one recently, or it's like an anime where they get into a war with them.
Is it Orbs or something?
It was like,
There's one that's called like Orbs that is a Netflix one that people are really liking.
yeah, I can't remember. There was another one where it was about like humanity has gone down the shitter because all of a sudden this alien race said, "Hey, you guys are shit and you suck." So all the humanity's pretty much at the low point, and every other alien race which resembles animals are like higher up. I have to remember the name of that one too. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know
oh,
that one.
guys, you know, and they're like they're being forced to fight mice. They're fighting mice and rats who are like huge. But then, oh my god, I can't remember the name. I gotta look it up later. it's gonna bother me. But okay, next question. How do you think anime dubbing has changed over?
So again, being like so recent to it, I feel like I've been treated really well with anime dubbing because I feel like it's become more, you know, not serious, but like, you know, people put a lot more feel into it. Like it's become an art form rather than just like an accessibility tool, because that's kind of what dubbing is an accessibility tool.
Do you think it's more accessible now than it was before?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know, it's like from a voice actor standpoint and stuff, like it's kind of a treat to be able to do because it's, you know, it's stuff that people love already, and you get to bring these characters to life that are like bigger than life themselves. And I don't know, and like as far as the quality of dubbing over the years too, you know, it went from kind of like over dramatic type of acting to kind of like a more serious, as in like it's more natural is the word. You know, it's hard to be 100% natural in dubbing just because you are stuck you know, matching lip flaps and everything, so it's not always 100% easy to be able to get like a one-to-one on emotions and stuff, but it's definitely come a long way.
Oh, I can help you with that. Let me see it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 6 times 3. That's easy. So, what's 6 times 3? 6 times 3, Koileen.
I don't know.
6 times 3, Koileen.
I don't know.
6 times 3, Koileen.
I don't.
6 times 3.
I don't know.
Answer the question.
I'm telling you, I don't know.
6, 3.
I don't know. What is it?
What is it? Get your mom.
Wait.
How do you feel about the sub versus dub debate?
I knew you were gonna ask that one. I knew you were gonna ask that. So for me, I am 100% on board with watch whatever you want to watch. If you like to watch it in sub, that's great. You want to watch it in dub? Wonderful. I'm a dub watcher because I like to multitask while I do things. So like I'll be drawing and then I'll have something up, especially One Piece being as long as it is. You know, there are times when there's storyline that isn't exactly like action-packed on screen. You know, there's a lot of dialogue, so I'll just be like sitting and drawing, and then I hear something like crazy happen and I'll look up. And also I think of it too as dub is like I said earlier, is an accessibility tool. So it's for people who might not be able to read very fast, or maybe kids who can't read at all. You know, they're able to watch it. Or I know there are like parents and stuff who have to take care of their kids who also want to consume the media but can't watch it in sub because their kid is like drawing on the walls over there. They gotta go take care of them, you know. So I'm all for watch whatever you want, but you don't, the hate between the two does not need to happen. If you love sub because you like the original voice actor, watch it in sub. Go for it.
Like,
it ain't gonna hurt me.
There are some animes where I could take the dub. The dub is as good as the sub. Like the original Trigun sounds great.
I haven't seen that yet, but I know like Johnny Young Bosch is, is in that, and I know he's wonderful.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop also sounds good.
One Piece, I will say, I personally think sounds really good. I do really like it dubbed.
I was watching this YouTube reactor watch Attack on Titan for the first time, and she was talking about like, oh, because she watches it in dub, which is okay, it's whatever. I hate it, and she was watching it, and then she was talking about, I don't know if you watch it, like if you remember, but when Eren becomes the Titan or whatever, his Attack Titan, and he does his scream for the war. The war sounds so much better in anime. In sub, and then because she watches the dub, people were telling her in the comments like, "Oh, check out the sub version; it's way better." And she goes, "Nah, I think the dub's better." And I was like, "Man, the dub version of his scream is more of this." But if you hear the sub version, the Japanese, oh my god, so much more intensity. I can feel it. I'm like, oh, this is.
It's funny because there are some people who actually are sub watchers who will have moments where they're like, wow, the dub actually, the emotion in the dub for like certain scenes for stuff actually did as well, if not better, than the sub in their opinion. So it kind of goes both ways, and it's all, preference too. It's like, again, I can kind of just watch whatever because, again, like I go into it knowing that I'm probably going to be multitasking anyways. So, but definitely there can be some differences between the two that some people are like, but I wouldn't say all sub is 100% better than dub, and I wouldn't say all dub is 100% better than sub. It just depends who did they have, doing it, how experienced they are, how well the voice matches and everything. So who the director was, like, are they, skilled at directing? Was the script adapted in a good fashion and everything? So, and it's not always just the voices either. Because again, it could be the directors, it could be the script was written oddly, because I've seen that before. People are like, that whatever they just said in dub did not translate as it should have.
I don't think it translates well from that to that, but they have to go.
Yeah,
I feel that.
It's all just, it's so much like studio to studio and anime to anime. So that's why I'm like, if you like it in sub, go for it, but don't be like, oh, all English dub is bad. All whatever, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, and that's okay.
It reminds me of that one meme, that one anime about Ghost Adventures or some shit. It's like
Ghost Stories.
Ghost Stories? Oh my god,
yeah,
the is so good. It's like, I didn't give a shit what's gonna happen. Just go with it.
They just went for it. They were like, all right, we're just doing whatever at this point.
Which is right, because I'm a huge fan of Helldivers, the game.
Yeah, I played that one.
I played it for the first year. I was playing it, but then I saw a meme on TikTok where it's like, switch the language to Japanese, but keep the English subtitles. It's like you're playing anime. And I switched it. I'm like, oh, this is way better.
自由に値する力と勇気があることを世界に示せ。エルダイバーに志願するのだ。平和を維持する。
It's so funny because it was, I believe it's Family Got King of the Hill?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, one of the two. I think it's King of the Hill. But in Japan, they actually have controversy over whether it's better to watch it in Japanese dubbed or English subbed for them, because they think that the English sub to them is actually better than the Japanese dubbed. So it's like, even in other countries, they're having the same thing. They're like, is it better in sub? Is it better in dub? So and when you listen, because somebody went to a restaurant or something with their friend, I think in Japan, and they showed a clip of iCarly in Japanese dub, and it sounded like an anime because that's how they, that's how the speech pattern works in Japan, is that's like, it sounds like it's anime. So it's interesting. It's just definitely an interesting topic, especially if you're not, don't know the language.
Yeah.
It can sound better or it can sound worse depending on how you how you see it. But it's like, if you don't know what they're saying.
I can see what you're talking about, the King of the Hill, because I can't picture King of the Hill, who's an all-white, bloody American, talking in Japanese. Okay.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Exactly, yeah.
All right,
Wait, a nature documentary? Hey, Sparky! I was watching that!
next question will be, how competitive is the voice acting industry, especially in anime?
So it's for anime, it's definitely it's tough for remote people because it's usually done in hubs. So you have the hub that's in Dallas, which is Crunchyroll, and then you have the hub that is in LA, which is Bang Zoom. And there are some like throughout, like I know there's Sentai Filmworks, which I believe is also in Texas and Houston. There's places kind of like little, like I wouldn't say little, like smaller studios that are just kind of like placed throughout the US, but a lot of them want you to come in person. So for doing remote voice acting and dubbing, there's not as many studios that are willing to do that because they have their roster of people, they have their equipment, they have, everything already set up. So it's kind of like, we already have enough actors. We don't really need to reach out into remote. But for the My Dear Friend Nokotan stuff, that was an entirely remote cast of people. Very few of us have ever stepped foot in a recording studio, and we kind of showed that it can be done remote. And that's what they did a lot during COVID too, is they did a lot of remote stuff there. So it's kind of a little battle right now to figure out where remote can fit into anime voice acting, because it's a very popular thing. It's a very fun thing to do. I mean, I love doing it. I think it's really fun. Plus you get there's all kinds of merch of characters and stuff that you voice just because they're already established characters. So it's competitive in the sense of there's a lot of voice actors right now, a lot of people. So it's a matter of, getting yourself established, networking, having websites and your social media established, just, talking to a lot of people. So it's very much you have to be vocal in the industry in order to kind of figure out where you're able to voice different things, just because, if you don't say anything ever, no one's gonna really know who you are. You don't really get picked up off the street and just be like, hey, I like you, let's have you. It's more of hi, I'm Roo and I do this, and they're like, oh, I've never heard of you before, but I like your resume and stuff. So it's I wouldn't say competitive in the sense of people are fighting for stuff, but you really gotta, be there for yourself and put yourself out there.
Is it different in doing live action stuff and other voice acting stuff than anime?
So anime is, I would say it's kind of its own different beast in a way. Kind of each medium is its own thing, because you have, again, anime, you have animation, which there's a thing called prelay where you do the voice acting first and then they animate based off the voice acting. So that's a lot of the, Western cartoons and stuff that we have. It's the voices are done first and then they animate based off of that. Video games.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but then again, dub, everything already has its voices and animation beforehand, and you're adding on later, so you have to match what they're doing. Meanwhile, when you're doing prelay stuff, you have a little bit more of that kind of freedom, because you don't have to match a certain amount of lip flaps. You have the director saying oh, do this, maybe do it a little bit slower, or do it a little faster, maybe do it with a little bit more energy here. Video games, that can be... Sometimes that is dubbing. Some people do have to dub over lines that are already done in a different language. Sometimes it's kind of like the prelay where you're given, the lines ahead of time, and then they'll do the mouth based off of what you've done in the character's actions. So there's similarities, but for the most part, dubbing is kind of it's especially anime dubbing is its own beast compared to everything else, just because there's a lot of kind of specialized skill that you have to, like I said earlier, be quick about. You got to kind of adapt into being able to watch a scene and then be able to kind of reenact that scene, while also, because when you're dubbing, you're hearing, at least the ones that I've done, you're hearing the Japanese as you are speaking in English. So you have to be able to speak while also hearing another language in your ears at the same time, while also matching the lip flaps, while also making sure you're giving a good emotional performance. So it's a lot going on at once.
Okay, because how some video games will do full motion with the voice actors. So
Yeah.
they're acting it out as they do it, and they have those things that would scan their face.
The
as they're-
mocap, yeah.
Yeah.
The motion capture, yeah.
Is that pretty much the same as dubbing and things, but it's all doing it all at once? That way you don't have to worry about lip flaps and.
So I think so I haven't done mocap myself, but from what I've seen, sometimes they I think can keep the voice lines from when the actors are doing it, but sometimes I think they have to go back and like kind of redub over it.
Okay.
Because that's another job that some people don't know about in voice acting, but there are people for like big movies and stuff like that too. There are times when they have a person who is a voice match for like a famous celebrity where they have to go into the studio and re-record a line that maybe the microphone didn't pick up well during the scene. For like live action stuff like the Superman movie and stuff that came out, there might have been times where, oh, we didn't get the audio that we needed from this certain part, so let's bring in a voice actor that sounds like this actor, and we'll have them re-record it, and they voice match to that celebrity. So sometimes in a movie, it's not even the celebrity talking, it will be a voice match, which is kind of insane, but that's a whole other like line of work too that people don't know exist.
See, that was.
Oh, John, I see you've joined us for our little soiree. Welcome, dear boy.
Be my next question is, what's something about voice acting that fans don't often feel?
Yeah, that right there, like
Yeah.
people will it's kind of surprising, but if you think about it, when you have these big celebrities, and I'm not in LA, I'm not in Hollywood, I haven't worked personally in any of these scenarios, but it's from what I've heard from people who have worked closely with them. It's like when you have an actor that you have to pay a lot of money for to have, and you do this whole scene and everything, and then you get to post-production later, and then you're like, oh crap, something happened with the audio here. You can't really, a lot of the times they can't afford to like set up the entire scene again and have the actor come in just for this one line. So that's why they'll have a voice match come in and do it so that they don't have to go back and literally reenact the entire thing just for one line. So that's one of the big things that I learned for sure.
So how do you maintain your vocal health with such?
I'm not the best at it, I'll be honest. A lot, like as far as people will do warm-ups and stuff beforehand, or like they'll do lip trills to warm up their lips. They'll do like vocal exercises where they're like doing like scales and all that. I'm kind of bad about that, but I always make sure that I'm taking care of myself afterwards. So if I have if I'm doing any kind of yelling for a character, I always make sure to do that part last. So if I have like a long day of recording a bunch of stuff, if there's yelling, I do it last so that I can save my voice and make sure that the regular talking stuff doesn't sound like raspy and like vocal fry and all that. That, and then making sure that I don't really have anything to record the next day, or at least, give myself time to recover. Drink lots of water. I don't think I've ever drank more water than when I've voice acted like before that, especially with how hot it is in the booth. It's like I'm always hydrating in the booth. When you get sick, it's like you just gotta hang in there and make sure you're drinking a lot of tea. Some people do tea during their sessions and stuff just to soothe their throat, but getting sick is kind of like, it's kind of the worst thing because you're like, sometimes you're coughing a lot. I've had times where I have a lot of work that I still had to do while I was sick, and like the clients understand, but they're also on a timeline. They can't always wait until you're 100% better. So there would be times where my character would maybe have a little rasp to their voice, and I go to do it, and then I'm just in a coughing fit for like 5 minutes. So it's like, do a line, just have my little coughing fit, drink water, drink tea, and then go back to it until I get it done. And I only do the work that I have to do in that moment. Like I don't do any extra auditions or anything, just to make sure that my voice can heal as fast as possible.
Halt! In the name of heaven!
We're not going to fight an angel, are we?
Of course not. Right. Of course, sorry. Good. Literally. Yeah, right.
Are there any misconceptions about being a voice actor?
Yeah, so a lot of people go into it, just in general with voice acting, hey, I can do voices. And that is kind of one of the things that like is the biggest misconception is that you can just do voices. There's two parts to the term voice acting. It's voice acting. So if you can't act, you can't really voice act, you know? So it's like you can do all kinds of you can do little high-pitched voices, or you can do like really seductive and low voices. But if you can't act with those, there's not really anything there to work with, you know? So being able, I would say one of the biggest things is being able to be directed. You have to be somebody who can take feedback and apply it, because there are times, you know, where people might be the type where they find feedback as like someone's attacking their, you know, their skills and stuff and being like, oh, could you maybe pull it back just a little bit on this line? And they're like, oh, so they think I'm bad at what I do. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, you got to put the ego away. That's like a big thing in voice acting. Like, you need to be able to be moldable by whoever is working with you. So if you are kind of like set in your own ways, it's going to be kind of rough for you. You got to be able to work with other people. And networking, like I said, is a big one that I don't think people understand, is you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So those are kind of like the misconceptions.
That's in every time. Good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. So you have guested at cons before. Have you had any memorable fan interactions based on your character?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So there was actually I think it was my first con that I did as a voice actor rather than a cosplayer. I actually had somebody who came up to my table, and they were from Japan, and it was their first time in America, first time going to a convention in America. And it was an interesting conversation, because he was asking me, he's like, is my dear friend No-Katan big over here? And I was like, I would say it's pretty big. Like, there's videos and stuff, like people do really enjoy it. And he's like, oh, because it's huge over there and everything. And so that was kind of really cool to hear how the show is perceived, you know, in the country that it originates from. But on top of that, like, we had a nice little conversation, and he said, you know what, just for you, because, you know, I met you and you're really nice, I'm gonna watch the dub of My Dear Friend No-Katan. So he, you know, he knows Japanese and watched it subbed, well, to us subbed. But he actually was like, I'm gonna watch it in dub and watch it in English because, you know, you were a joy to talk to. And I was like, that is so cool, you know, like, he didn't have to, but he was like, you know, let me try it out. So that was actually really cool, especially being one of the first kind of interactions after getting that character.
I pretty much answered the second question, which was, how does it feel knowing your voice is part of something that impacts fans around the world? Well, we just answered that question with the guy from Japan.
Oh, but it's so awesome in general, though, because in episode 3 of My Dear Friend No-Katan, I sing a song as the character, and the whole scene is basically she's reading this cheesy song that she wrote about herself, and she's singing it essentially like, you know, a teenager singing in their room. It's supposed to be kind of bad. It's like, here comes a former delinquent Koshitan, like she's singing about herself. So it's supposed to be bad. And somebody posted a clip of that on Twitter one time of my voice, and it got like millions of views and stuff. And the comments, I was so scared to open the comments, I'll tell you that. Like, anytime there's dubbed anything, it's like, oh, what are the comments gonna say? And honestly, they were almost like all wonderful, because they were like, she nailed the cringiness of it. And I was like, oh, thank God, because that was the point, and I was afraid people were gonna miss the point that it's supposed to be cringy. That part was intentionally supposed to be like bad. And all the comments were just like, oh, you know, she did a great job really nailing that. It was hard to listen to, but in a good way. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. I was so scared.
Like a lot of weight off your shoulder.
It was, because I mean, dub voice actors, not everybody, you know, but some people do look at comments and stuff. Like, I've looked at Reddit. Don't look at Reddit. It's always a mistake to look at it. But you do get some people who say some, like, really kind of nasty things. I've gotten...
Reddit's a dark place.
Yeah, I mean, I got, like, my first... I remember specifically the first hate DM that I got on Twitter, and they're like, you're never gonna live up to Saki Fujita, the original voice actor. Like, you're a fake and all this. And I'm just like,
well, my
bad, I didn't mean to insult you.
The way I felt about Reddit stuff when I started into cosplay photography stuff is this, if you're not mentioned yet, whether it's good or bad, you kind of made it at this point. Yeah. But,
It's because the first thing that we got when when the dub came out for my dear friend Nokotan, because again most of us had not done anime yet. Most of us haven't been in a lot of like well-known projects. It was a lot of comments of, who are these nobodies? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, I mean, we all start out as nobodies, you know?
So do people have the time to even look at the credits and be like, who's talking? Who's this person?
Yeah. They're just like, I've never heard of these people before, and it's like,
Damn, you
Now
remember
you
the person by
have.
the voice? To me, anime, I just listen. I'm like, I'm not gonna be like,
yeah.
this person sucks. Who is this?
Oh no, I'm a chronic look up. You know, every voice that I hear, for the most part, I'm just like, who voices this? They sound familiar, and so I'm kind of with them on that. I'm always like, who is that person?
Like,
I'd like to know.
I don't know. I'd be like, accept it, okay? It's an anime. Let's go with it. Don't hate it.
Right.
I'm like, just be glad they're doing it for you. You can understand it instead of
Exactly, yeah.
So, what are your dream roles or series you love to work with on in the future, other than One Piece?
Well, now I don't have any options. No, kidding. So yeah, One Piece, specifically a transponder snail, is like the dream role. That'd be so fun. Just go beta, click. That's like the dream role. Rooster Fighter, if I could ever voice of first of all, a chicken in general, which is why Rooster Fighter is such a cool thing, that it's literally a anime about chickens. Like, if I could voice a chicken, I would be over the moon with that. Like, I don't think I've voiced a chicken character for anything yet, and I'm like, please, I just want to be a chicken. So anything like that. Honestly, as kind of like cheesy as it sounds, I would love to voice characters that have, you know, some kind of heartfelt moments and stuff that you really connect with, that really kind of bring out the emotions in people, because those characters stick with me a lot. So if it's, you know, it doesn't have to be a sad scene, but just something that, you know, the listener will feel the emotion that I'm giving, that's the kind of stuff that I love doing.
Do you have any advice for any aspiring voice actors, especially those looking to break into the anime?
Okay, again, the anime scene is definitely set mostly in like the hubs, but that doesn't mean it's impossible for remote stuff to happen. So I would say, specifically to grow your portfolio and everything, show that you can act and all that. If there's those competitions where they, you know, are doing like, you know, audition in front of people, and then, you know, if you win, you get to do, you know, an anime and stuff, try those out. Research what you're able to do as far as equipment and everything, because equipment can get very expensive. Work within your budget. Don't go over your budget just for the sake of like, oh, I'll sound better and therefore I will be better. You want to make sure you have your acting up to par and everything too. Take classes. Keep in touch with those around you that, you know, are also kind of in the same, you know, part of voice acting that you are. If you're just starting and you end up in a class with a bunch of other people that are starting, keep in contact with them, you know, because you guys are working through the same things. I'm trying to think. Yeah, just kind of, again, develop your portfolio over time. It's gonna take time. Again, I've been doing this year will be 3 years, and, you know, there's still a lot of stuff that I would like to be in, but it just hasn't come yet, and that's okay. Be patient. Rejection, I say rejection in quotes, is all part of it, you know. They usually only pick one person per role for stuff. So if there's 1,000 people that have auditioned for a character, there's going to be 999 that did not get the role. So just keep in mind, just because you didn't get the role does not mean you're bad. They can only pick one person. Sometimes you're in a director's like top 3, and it's just, for an example, when I first started, I got a call back for a role, and they were like, we really liked your acting and everything. The problem was they already picked the voice actor, because there were 2 main female characters. They picked the voice actor for one of the main females already. The character that I got the call back for was the other main female. But my voice sounded too much like the other person's voice. It wasn't distinct enough. So they were like, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go with you, because we need 2 characters that sound different enough. Your acting was on point. It's just you sounded too much like the other person that we already picked. So it could literally be something like that.
At least they gave an explanation, because sometimes you'll just get a no without nothing.
Yeah, like there will be times when you get a no, but sometimes they'll be like, hey, we might have characters for you in the future, which also does happen. They'll come back to you and be like, hey, so keep positive, positive reputation with the people that you interact with. Just because you don't get a role, don't be hateful to the director. Don't be spiteful and be like, well, you missed out or whatever. Don't be like, well, I would have been a better choice. Just say, thank you for the opportunity and move on, because maybe they will have something for you in the future. And if they don't, at least you still have a good connection with somebody. Sometimes they have people that also might need somebody.
Because in the end, it's all about it's a business.
Exactly. You just have to be, civil and nice.
All right. So, what's next for you in your career? Any projects you're excited about that you can't share?
It's always the what you can share. So right now I've been doing a lot of auditions, so I'm just kind of waiting to hear back if there's anything good from them. Again, that's part of it, is you have to be patient. Yeah, it's like you have to wait and wait and wait, and hopefully stuff comes out. There are some things that I'm waiting for them to come out that I'm in, that I'm like, oh, I'm so excited for, but I can't talk about yet, which is always so frustrating. I'm like, please, just so I can start talking about it. But other than that, again, I'm auditioning. I've taken up doing like streaming and stuff. In the meantime, I'm trying to get back into cosplay, so I'm trying to be creative everywhere else when voice acting is kind of like in a lull.
Yeah.
So it's kind of whatever I can do, I'm trying to do it.
So where can people follow your work and connect with you?
All of my stuff is Roo Ryder VA, at Roo Ryder VA on like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and stuff. I do have my cosplay stuff, which is Rapunzel, so it's like Rapunzel, the first part of Rapunzel, and then Aru. That's where like all that stuff is. My streaming stuff is all Rooster VTuber. My VTube model is based off of a chicken because I love chickens, so it's a rooster. And then if you want to see my website, that's just roorider.com. So it's all simple. Just look for Roo something.
Yeah, I'll put it down in the description.
Yeah, of course.
So your last question: if you could voice any non-anime character or franchise in a video game or animation or any other stuff, what would it be?
Oh gosh, out of everything, I don't know, because I would say like a Disney character, like a Disney princess would be like a really cool thing, because that's what I grew up with. But I would say just I want like a goofy side character. I just want somebody that's got a lot of energy and stuff in some like animation, or a playable character in a fighting game. I think would be a lot of fun. I have not gotten that yet. Actually, I haven't really gotten like playable characters yet. I want to be a playable character in something. Yeah, I want you to have to listen to my voice for like the entirety of a game. And hear the same thing over and over again.
I mean, that'd be cool, but I don't know if Disney Plus has done anything new recently. Animation. I didn't even know.
Oh, I know.
I didn't even watch the last Pixar movie. I didn't even know what the last Pixar movie was about.
Oh, I don't know anymore. At this point, something like K-pop Demon Hunters, with how big that is, like those kinds of animations. Like that would be super fun to do something that's like to that scale, you know, where you just have a whole bunch of people that you can enjoy the content with. And I guess that's also kind of a dream of mine too, is just continue being, you know, characters that people can relate to. And when I go to cons, I love to talk to people about how they relate to a character, or how that character was their favorite or even least favorite. You know, I want to hear how it impacted them, and then like nerd out about the medium itself anyways, like anime and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard they're gonna do 2 more sequels and 1 live action.
Oh, I heard that too, yeah. I don't know about the live action. I don't know if we need a live action for everything, but
now that it's popular, you have to milk that cow.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm surprised it's not like going to be a TV series.
See,
honestly,
that would have made more sense to do, because did that final boss demon guy, who was also the actor from
Squid Game?
Yeah. I was like, he didn't die technically, right?
I know, like he's still out there as far as we know. It's like, what's he up to?
Am I spoilers for if you haven't seen it? Is he the father of her?
That's what people are also thinking.
See,
People are thinking he might be the father.
Yeah.
So
And I was like, man, she slept with a demon? Is she a demon?
there's so many like plot holes, or not plot holes, but things they didn't have time to explain yet that people are like, but what about this?
When he goes, you gave me my soul back. Here you go. And he just dies. And I was like, what?
Yeah. It's like, where'd he go? Is he, I mean, he's a demon. Is he actually dead, or is he just...
Well, apparently, the theory is when he abandoned his mom and sister at the gate and they were about to be killed, they were actually saved by the other demon hunters in that era or something. That's like any technical. But he did,
right.
But he became a demon because he gave up to live a luxury life for in whatever.
Yeah.
But you know,
there's all kinds of stuff with that one. Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun.
And guys, that's a wrap on this episode of No Height Required. Huge thanks to Roo Ryder for joining us and showing us an inside look at the world of anime voice acting, from vocal warm-ups to fan favorite characters and everything in between. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your favorite Roo Ryder role. Put them all down here.
The Roo Ryder role.
Or who you love to hear next to voice text. If you can follow Roo, I'm going to put all her social media down at the bottom, and be sure to check out the work. For more creative conversation across the worlds of anime, fandom, cosplay, theme parks, and more, follow No Height Required here on YouTube and my own Brylan Images. I haven't made an Instagram yet for it, but that's gonna be there. So again, I'm Brian, and until next time, remember, whether it's capes, coasters, or camera lenses, there's no height required to join the fandom. I'll see you next time. Thank you guys. Bye.